All right, guys, here's the review notes. Remember, you need to work on the review that was handed to you. So this is the review for LINSYS Test 1 that will occur on Tuesday, the 11th. We're going to start with this very first slide here. Okay. There we go. Okay. So number 1, it says, what is the solution to the following system of equations? So to be a solution, that means it all has to intersect at the exact same point. Notice that you've got the blue and the green, but the red is not in this right here. This one right here, you have the red and the green, but it's not the blue. So, and then here you got the red and the blue, but it's not the green. So because that's the case, then we've got a no solution, or that's the 0 with the line through it, or the word no solution. So it has to intersect at the exact same point in order to be a solution. Okay, the other two types that you can have is the one solution, which is where they're intersecting at the same point, and you write the point. Okay, it's got to be like the point, say 1, 3. Make sure you've got those parentheses, not just x, not just y, but the actual point. Or there can be infinite many solutions, which is the exact same line. So if I put a line on top of this blue, then that would be infinitely many with the blue and whatever line I put. The next one, we've got two equations. You do need to make sure you know how to solve. So I talked a lot with one of my classes about we always subtract x, divide by y, and that's the biggest thing. So we're going to take this first equation right here, and we're going to solve this for y. So we want to put it in y-intercept form. So we've got 2x minus y equals 12. So again, subtract x, so minus 2x minus 2x. So I have negative y equals, guys, this does not have, the 12 does not have an x, so therefore I do not combine these. I've been seeing that mistake happening. So we leave this as negative 2x plus 12. And then the last thing I want to do is this is like a negative 1. So you can either multiply by negative 1 or divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. Now, because this is an equal sign, I don't need to worry about that negative. So I've just got y equals 2x minus 12. Notice the sign just changed here. And then this would be in the y-intercept form, where if you wanted to actually graph this, this is your y-intercept, and this is your slope. Okay. The other one, so on this one right here, the second equation, I've got x minus 3y less than or equal to negative 5. Well, again, subtract x, subtract x. So I get negative 3y less than or equal to negative x minus 5. You cannot combine these. They don't have, the 5 doesn't have an x. This is an x. You cannot combine them. You got to leave them separate. Then you divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. This is where you ask yourself, did I divide by a negative? Yes, I did. So I'm going to flip this sign. So I have y, instead of less than, it's going to be greater than or equal to, and then this becomes a positive 1/3 x, and then plus 5/3. Okay. On the inequalities, when we're graphing this, this would be greater than, so we're going to shade above. And this is going to be an or equal to, so we are going to have a solid line. Make sure you know your inequality symbols. Okay, the next one. We have a couple different questions using this shaded graph. Remember, guys, if it is a solution, it is in the exact same region. So anything here where those shades overlap, plus it can be on a solid line. So let's look at these points. We're going to plot them. Let me erase this right here so we can see the plot. So we've got the negative 5, negative 1. So negative 5, negative 1. Well, that's on the dotted line, and it's not in the combined shaded regions. So this is not a solution. All right, the next one is 6, 0. So 6, 0 is here. It's in the red shaded region only. So it's only a solution to one, but not both. So again, it's not a solution. All right, so 0, 6. 0, 6 is up here. It's in the exact same overlapping shaded area, so yes, this is a solution. -2, 4. -2, 4 lies in the line that is solid and in the combined shaded region, so yes, that is a solution. And then -1, 3 lies on the dotted line, so no, it's not a solution, okay, or not. We've been doing up there. So please remember, if it's on the dotted, not a solution. You need to remember that, okay? All right, last main question that we're going to talk about is finding the linear regression. So while I'm reading this to you and talking about it, I pull up the calculator. But when we find a linear regression, the main thing when you're entering this in your calculator is to make sure that every x has a y. So if it doesn't say the 7 had been sitting here, but there's no y value, then do not put that in your calculator. So do not put in your calculator. Okay, so this is asking me for the linear regression and the correlation coefficient. So in my calculator, to get that, see if it opens it up here. It's still opening, okay. So to get the correlation coefficient, you have to turn on a value. Here we go, now it's loading. So to do that, I'm gonna go to 2nd plus 712 so you can watch me walk through these steps. So these are the steps that are happening here. I'm gonna clear these out so that you can clearly see what's going on. I'm gonna pull this down. All right, so correlation coefficient, to get that, you're gonna go to 2nd, 0. And then you wanna arrow down until you see diagnostics on. I'm gonna take a shortcut here just real quick. So the shortcut 2nd alpha x to the -1 takes me to my D values, or my D letters. So I'm gonna go until I see diagnostic on, that's off. I want it on, so enter, enter. Now that that's on, I'm gonna go to stat and edit. And I'm gonna input all of these points. So I'm gonna put 3, 5, 8, 12, 16, and 15. So 3, enter, 5, enter, 8, enter, 12, enter, 16, enter, and 15, enter. Exactly like I see it. Notice my L1 is my X value. So all of these X values went in L1, so L2 is going to be all of my Y values. So 20, 22, 23. So I'm going to arrow over 20, enter, 22, enter, 23, enter, then 26, enter, 28, enter, and 30, enter. Just double check, always make sure, again, you want every single point that's in this one to have a point in L2. So if I had a number down here under 15 and I didn't have a number here, then I either did something wrong or I shouldn't have entered that number in, okay? So again, double check your numbers because your calculator is going to give you an answer as long as your list match. Once we've done this, we're going to go to stat, then over to calc, and then number 4, arrow down to calculate, and hit enter. All right, so for the equation, we round to the nearest hundredths. That's 2 decimal places. So my A value, I'm going to look at the 1. The 1 is smaller than 5, so this 9 is going to stay in 9. So this is going to be y equals 0.69x. And then I'm going to go back and get my B value. My B value, I've got a 9. That's bigger than 5, so this 2 becomes a 3. So plus 18.03. My correlation coefficient, which is this question right here, is my R value only. It is point, and this is where we do 4 decimal places. So this 9 right here, this 9 on the 5th one, tells me that this is going to go up, which now this is going to go up. So my rounded correlation coefficient is going to be 0.9690. Well, I'm not done because it asked me to predict the Y value when X is 5. So I'm going to plug in, or sorry, when X is 7. I'm going to plug in 7 here. So Y equals 0.69 times 7 plus 18.03. Go to my calculator, 0.69 times 7 plus 18.03 0.03, hit enter. Your answer is going to be 22.86. Now, what if they said round to the nearest tenth? So round nearest tenths. That's 1 decimal place, so this would actually be 22.9. Okay, so just a recap, things you need to make sure you know. So you need to know linear regression, the steps in those calculators, how to get it, trend line, where to draw it, / your type of correlation. So is it strong, positive, negative, no correlation, weak. So those type of statements. Oh, sorry about that. The other thing is going to be graphing, linear lines. Definitely going to have to graph some linear lines and linear inequalities. So make sure you know your inequality symbols. That would be like the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Make sure you know what's solid, dotted, shaded above, below, things like that. You're going to need to know how to what a solution looks like in a graph and table. So that's with the graph and table. Okay, as well as how to write it. So make sure it's written as a point. So like 2, 3, it needs an X, a Y, and your parentheses. Okay, and then where solutions are on inequality graphs. So that's like the points on this one that we looked at, where what solutions look like. Oh, made that disappear. Here we go. What solutions? There we go. Sorry about that. What solutions look like on inequality graphs. So I know that doesn't really look like a whole lot, but it encompasses a lot of things. Oh, and then the last thing is, and this is the most important, so I'm going to actually put this in a different color. This is what a lot of y'all, when I graded, struggled the most with. So writing systems of equations and inequalities. Okay, make sure you know that whole at least or at most. In fact, let me go ahead and add another slide here so that we can talk about that. So at least means you need to be greater than or equal to. So the equation, the number. At most, so you can't have any more, less than or equal to. You got the equation, the number. No more than, okay, again, no more than, less than or equal to. Okay, which that means if it says no less than, you're going to be the opposite of that. So those are the ones that you need to know. Again, make sure you're really reviewing that writing. If you have any questions, review over this, use your review. I have tutorials today. Come see, come get help.